This is a KMVT Sports presentation.
Today from Lancer Field on the St. Francis High School campus, KMVT Sports proud to bring you high school softball. The St. Francis Lancers hosting the Los Gatos Wildcats in De Anza Division action. Along with Brian Burkett's partner, George Devine, I'll be Brian Burkett today. Is that okay? Is that all right with you, George?
Brian, as long as there are two of us here and we do our jobs right, it doesn't matter who we are.
Yes, I'm along with myself.
That's good.
We're off to a wonderful start. We are ready to go here at Lancer Field. The St. Francis Lancers come in with a 21-6-1 overall record, 9-0-1 in the De Anza Division. Megan Dunham is on the mound for the St. Francis Lancers. We will set the lineups as we go. Melanie Barker, the leadoff batter for the Wildcats. Barker, the center fielder. And the first pitch of the game. That's outside for a ball, 1-0. Melanie Barker leads off in center against Megan Dunham. Eming Lin, the second baseman, bats second. The shortstop, Tessa Donnelly, hits third. Cut and a miss, and the count, a ball and a strike. Kiara Graybill, the starting pitcher for Los Gatos today, bats in the cleanup spot. Jillian Wattis, the right fielder, bats fifth. Chelsea Hayes, the DH, hitting sixth. 2 balls and a strike on Melanie Barker. Rounding out the Wildcats lineup, Jessica Moeller batting seventh, playing first. Courtney Radonich, the catcher, batting eighth. And batting ninth in left field, Nancy Mills. Jamie Barclay starts at third. Dunham falls back 3-1 on Melanie Barker. Los Gatos 4-6 in the De Anza Division. Head coach Jerry Garza's team is tied with Homestead for the middle of the pack in the division. To the left side, and a base hit. Catherine Halata, the shortstop, stumbled, and Barker is on at first, a leadoff single. Halata dusting herself off. Lauren Wong, who normally starts at short, getting the nod in left today. And we'll see what the Wildcats can do with a leadoff batter aboard, and Eming Lin coming up. Lin, the second baseman. Lancers expecting a bunt, and it is foul at the plate. St. Francis defensively, Chrissy Hirsch behind the plate. As you look at Barker go back to first. Michelle Hobbs, the first baseman. Saskia Gazenbeek at second. Catherine Halata, the shortstop. Kim Pennell at third. Lauren Wong in left. Lindsay Arioto in center. Sarah Collins starts in right. 1 on, none gone for Lynn. That's upstairs. And the count 1-1. Early opportunity for the Wildcats. Very important, George, for the Wildcats to get on top early in this game.
Especially playing on the road against Megan Dunham, who beat them 6-2 in the last time they met. Megan usually has good mastery of her pitches, and once she gets staked to a lead, she's tough to beat.
Fouled out of play. The count 1-2 on Lynn.
Here's a situation right here where bunting is no longer an option for Lynn, unless she can match the ball perfectly to the bat on a 2-strike count. Now the corners are going to recede a little bit. She'll have to try to put one through the gap.
And this may be a situation where Los Gatos coach Jerry Garza puts the runner in motion. Melanie Barker at first. Reached on the infield single, starting the game.
Barkers get good speed. We saw that to open up the ball game.
Runner does not go. It's a foul tip. And the count remains 1-2. Tessa Donnelly, the shortstop, is on deck. Los Gatos coming off a loss against Mountain View the other day, 6-4. That game was played at Mountain View. Spartans out hit the Wildcats 8-3 in that game. Kiara Graybill took the loss. Third base, Pennell looked at second briefly, then threw to Hobbs for the out at first. 5-3 on the play. Barker advanced. 1 out, runner in scoring position for Tessa Donnelly.
Pennell over at third, and that look at second almost lost the runner at first. She really didn't realize how speedy Lynn was. There's Jerry Garza. I'm sure he knows how speedy the top of his lineup is. Head coach of the Los Gatos Wildcats.
Been in Los Gatos for a number of years. Will be retiring at the end of the season. His family moving to Arizona over the summer. Count of 1-0 on Donnelly. Runner at second with one out. We're in the top of the first. No score. And George, you talked about the play at first base. Lynn getting pegged by Pennell. Kim almost lost that opportunity. Pennell another chance. And Donnelly gunned down. Barker advanced to third.
Yeah,
Runner at third with two down. In softball, situation where you only have 60 feet between the bases, that little second you take to look somewhere else could cost you.
Oh, it's huge. You know, in baseball, because it's a 90-foot, situation, the balls usually hit a lot faster and usually bounces a little more. You have a little bit more time. When you're dealing with a quick lineup, time is not a luxury.
Kiara Graybill with a comebacker. Dunham handles easily, and the threat thwarted in the Los Gatos first. Kiara Graybill, the starting pitcher for the Wildcats today, unable to help her own cause as she grounds out to retire the side. A leadoff infield single from Barker is wasted. We go to the bottom of the first with the Lancers coming to bat. A sunny day at Lancer Field, and the fans trying to keep cool in the shade. So we go to the bottom of the first to check of the St. Francis batting order that Kiara Graybill will face. Sarah Collins leads off in right. Michelle Hobbs bats second, plays first base. Batting third and in left field, Lauren Wong. Saskia Gazenbeek having a tremendous season, batting cleanup and playing second base. Batting fifth and doing the catching is Chrissy Hirsch. Catherine Halata bats sixth. She is playing shortstop. Kim Pennell is at third, batting seventh. The designated hitter, Megan Schwedelm, hits eighth, and batting ninth, playing center field, Lindsay Arioto. Megan Dunham in the pitcher's role today for St. Francis, and Kiara Graybill, who has 6 wins on the season for Los Gatos, set to deal, and the first pitch bunted at and fouled away by Sarah Collins, 0-1. Collins, then Hobbs and Wong in the Lancer first. Head coach Barry Ivers, who coaches over at first base for the Lancers. Dave Maltabano, Barry's longtime assistant, over at third. Little pop-up, and it is foul near the Lancer dugout. Collins quickly in the hole, 0-2. And as Collins heads back to the plate, George, a check of the Wildcat defense.
Jamie Barkley at third base. You saw her chasing that foul pop. Tessa Donnelly at short. Yiming Lin at second. Jessica Moeller is at first. Nancy Mills is in left. Melanie Barker in center. And Jillian Wadas is in right. Courtney Radonich does the catching for Kiara Graybill.
Bang through the middle. Play at first. They get the out. Melanie Barker able to gun down Sarah Collins, and there's one away, 8-3 on the putout.
Let's take a look at this arm work by Melanie Barker, coming in on the infield grass by half a step. That's a combination of speed and a great arm in center field to come in on that ground ball through the gap and to nail the runner at first.
Michelle Hobbs is the batter. One out, nobody on base. Hobbs, the starting first baseman for the Lancers. Pitch taken outside, ball one. No score in the bottom of the first. Nobody on base, one away. Hobbs able to skip out of the way, and the count 2-0. The Lancers 21-6-1 coming in, 9-0-1 in the De Anza division. That's a ball. Graybill falls back 3-0.
Right here, Hobbs' job after Collins was retired, get on board, basically set up the table for Lauren Wong and in the middle of the order.
There's a strike, 3-1. Lauren Wong waiting on deck, then Saskia Gazenbeek in the 4 spot.
They've really hit the ball well this season in the 3 and 4 spots.
That's ball 4, a 1-out walk to Hobbs, and just what you spoke of, George. setting the table for the 3 and 4 holes, and Lauren Wong coming up with a chance to do some damage, 1 on, 1 out.
One of the good things about walking is that the center fielder can't throw you out on an infield roller.
Wong starting in left field.
Yeah, Wong had a great bat to start the season, and Barry Ivers was very happy with her play at the plate and also very happy with her play at short.
Runner going, swing and a miss. The throw hits the runner. It stays on the infield. Collins, or I should say Hobbs, safe on the stolen base. Count of 0-1 on Wong. Hobbs with the steal, and that's something that the Lancers have done quite a bit this year, George. Very aggressive on the base paths.
Looked like the hit and run might have been on. There's a wide throw by Radonich. That's where Melanie Barker in center field gets tested again. Can she back up that errant throw? Should it go through? She's got a good shift on Wong right now to go the opposite way.
That's a strike, and the count 0-2. This is a spot also where Ivers and Maltabano aren't afraid to have the runner advancing toward third, especially after the pitch has crossed the plate and the catcher returns the ball back to the pitcher. That's usually when the runner is broken, based on past games anyway.
Lauren Wong's got a good gap to work with here in the outfield.
Swing and a miss. Wong strikes out, and that's a big strikeout for Graybill, her first of the game. 1 strikeout for Graybill, accompanying 1 walk here in the inning. They're now 2 away, runner at second for Gazenbeek.
Yeah, Graybill looked like she changed speeds that time, striking Wong out. She went fastball, fastball, and then went off speed.
Through the middle, that's a base hit. Barker up with the ball quickly. Hobbs held at third. It's a single for Gazenbeek. Saskia's tremendous season continues. She's averaging about 2 or 3 hits per game, and no chance for Graybill. That ball shot right back through.
You know, Barker to start out the inning gunned down Collins at first with the throw from the edge of the outfield grass. That time prevented the go-ahead run from scoring. By charging in on that ball and by showing her arm earlier, Barry Ivers was not going to send Michelle Hobbs around third.
On the corners for Chrissy Hirsch. Hirsch, the Peninsula Athlete of the Week in the Mercury News this week. Hirsch had 4 RBI in a game last week against Los Altos, a game the Lancers won 8-0 over at LA. Big swing and a miss. Throw to third. The shortstop Donnelly was ducking in behind. Count is 0-1.
That's a situation where Dave Maltabano, the third base coach, has to watch that duck-in play. The runner can see the third baseman because the third baseman is usually playing down the line up in front of the runner, but the runner can't really see over their shoulder, so that's where the third base coach has to help him out.
Jerry Garza talking to his battery here, might be talking about a set play, and perhaps the catcher, Courtney Radonich, was a page ahead on the playbook. Maybe Garza didn't want that throw down to third base on the first pitch. Maybe he wanted it later on in a more key spot. There's a swing and a miss. And the count 0-2. Of course, you got a runner on third base, but more of a spot to use that play to try and get out of an inning.
Yeah, if you can get the opponent to run into an out, especially with 2 runners in scoring position, it takes a big load off of your pitcher.
That's a foul ball. Another thing that throw did was advance the runners, so a situation here of second and third and 2 down. We're in the bottom of the first, no score. Kiara Graybill trying to pitch out of a jam here in the first inning. Toward third, it's knocked down, it gets away. Jamie Barclay too hot to handle, a run scores, and it's 1-0 Lancers. E5.
Jamie Barclay charges in on the ball. We're going to see it right here. She comes up too soon. She was starting to think about her throw before she had the ball fully in her mitt, and the result is Chrissy Hirsch brings in the run on the error at third.
1-0 Lancers. Barclay drawing the miscue. We've got a balk here. In softball, it's not a balk. It's credited as a ball to the batter, but that was a situation where Kiara Graybill had a little hiccup in her delivery. Count 1-0 on Catherine Halata. Halata batting with runners on first and third. Now the runner advances for second, and Hirsch is in there standing up without a play. And the count 2-0 on Halata, another second and third situation.
This is where Kiara Graybill's got to come up with a big pitch right here, get a little comeback or a little roller to the corner, trying to get out of this inning with only 1 run worth of damage.
Ming Lin at second base handles the one hopper. And Graybill does escape the inning, only 1 run scored upon her. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left, 1 inning, 1-0 St. Francis. This is high school softball on KMVT. To the second inning, a 1-0 Lancer lead. Megan Dunham deals low to Jillian Wattis. 1 ball and no strikes. Wattis leading off the Los Gatos second. That's in the number 5 spot in the order. Chelsea Hayes and Jessica Moeller to follow. Fouled over on the first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wattis, a sophomore. One of 4 sophomores on the Los Gatos roster. Dunham, the Lancer pitcher, also a sophomore. A off-speed pitch, tapper to Gazenbeek. Saskia throws to Hobbs, 1 down. 4 in a row retired by Dunham after the game starting single by Barker. Now Chelsea Hayes coming up.
Yeah, it's a big chance right here for St. Francis. You know, Dunham gets a 1-2-3 inning, doesn't allow any runs to score, and that makes that St. Francis, you know, run in the first inning a little bit stronger. You know, Los Gatos right here would like to get a run to at least tie this ball game after St. Francis got theirs in the first. Softball and baseball are like a chess game. You want to counter one move with another. And after somebody scores like St. Francis did in the bottom of the first, you want to put something up to kind of check it.
Solid shot through the left side, and then Wong can't come up with it, and this turns into extra bases. Hayes winds up at second. That ball was ripped through the left side, and then Wong, who doesn't play left field very often, misplayed this one, hitting an error.
Well, Wong's used to playing balls on dirt, not on grass, and that ball picked up speed on the grass after it took a little hop from coming off the dirt. There's a big difference between playing grass and playing turf. Lauren Wong can go home and tell everyone that tonight.
Jessica Moeller, the batter, the Wildcat first baseman, runner at second, 1 out. Chance for Los Gatos to rebound after giving up an unearned run in the bottom of the first. Moeller, a junior. Hayes at second, 1 out. 1-0 Lancers, top of the second inning. Dunham delivers. That's fouled, and a ball and a strike the count.
This is a spot for Megan Dunham facing Moeller right here, where you either want to get a comebacker, where you can look the runner back to second, or get a strikeout. You don't want to get that runner to third, especially with less than 2 outs.
That's a strike. Dunham able to get one over, and the count 1-2.
Watching the Lancer infield right now, Catherine Halata, the shortstop, playing a little game with the runner. Keeping her eye on that bag at third in case there's a pickoff play. Should the runner go?
Now it's 2-2 on Moeller. And that's something that you have to be aware of as the defensive team, that runner in motion. Hayes has not offered to go to third yet. The ball bobbled by Halata. Everyone is safe. And a good job by Hayes. Hayes, the runner at second, did not have to advance to third. She held her ground, and Halata forced to eat the miscue.
Looks like Halata's trouble starts as she was starting to turn and look at the runner. and now a conference out on the Lancer pitching mound. You know, in this inning so far, we've seen Lauren Wong commit an error in left field in a position she usually doesn't play, and now Catherine Halata committing an error at short in a position she doesn't play.
Jerry Garza huddles up with his team offensively. Meanwhile, Dave Maltabano in the circle gathered amongst everybody. 2 errors by the Lancers, and George, remember earlier this year, St. Francis had trouble defensively early on in the season. When the Lancers suffered most of their 6 losses, they had a couple of games where they had 5 or more errors, and that's not going to get it done.
Especially in a lot of the tournament play, you'd see those box scores and they come in 4 or 5 errors. And when you start approaching, you know, we're in May right now, when you start approaching the CCS playoffs, you cannot make errors in the field, because you're not always going to hit the ball well, especially, you know, in a playoff situation.
And the further you go, the better the teams are, and 1 run could be enough to win a game in a CCS playoff situation. Courtney Radonich, the batter, and the Wildcat catcher looked at a strike. They count 0-1. Runners on first and second, 1 out. 1-0 St. Francis, top of the second. That's foul down the third baseline. Nice scoop by the head coach, Jerry Garza. They count 0-2. Waiting on deck, the number 9 batter, left fielder Nancy Mills. There are your base runners. Chelsea Hayes, the runner at second. Jessica Moeller at first. That's outside, a ball and 2 strikes.
That's a good point you make, Brian. When you get into the playoffs, 1 run is often the difference. And the big lesson is you have to take care of yourself. You're not always going to be able to score runs, so take care of yourself in the field. Protect that lead.
Just off the plate. Dunham didn't miss by much. 2-2 on Radonich. To the right side, Gazenbeek underhands to Hobbs. The runners advance to second and third. Hayes to third, and Moeller to second. Well, 2 on and 2 out for the number 9 batter, Nancy Mills.
Well, Gazenbeek with a good decision right there. As soon as she realized she didn't have a play at second, she went for the easy out at first. That's a situation right there where if you throw to second, you might not get the runner. You could easily commit a throwing error and make this inning a lot worse for the Lancers. This will be quite an escape act by Dunham if they get out of this without giving up a run.
In the dirt, nice scoop by Hirsch, and the count 1-0. Lancers have a very good 1-2 punch on the mound with Megan Dunham and Catherine Halata. Dunham getting the start today. She was the winning pitcher against Los Gatos earlier this year. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
We've seen in a couple of ball games this year where Barry Ivers will have one of his pitchers go, maybe, 5, 6 innings and then bring somebody, the other one in as a closer. That can be an effective weapon when you get into the playoffs, having that fresh arm for the 6th and the 7th. Basically shortening the ball game by taking away, outs and batting opportunities from the opposing team.
It's 1-1 on Mills. Pennell has it at third, corner to corner for the outside, retired. A hit, no runs, 2 Lancer errors, and the Wildcats leave 2 runners in scoring position. 1.5 innings, 1-0 St. Francis. Bottom of the second inning and the bottom third of the Lancer batting order due. St. Francis in first place in the De Anza division, 9-0-1. Los Gatos tied with Homestead at 4-6. Cupertino and Wilcox chasing the Lancers. Pioneers and Chargers each 7-3. Lancers play Wilcox later this week. Kim Pennell takes a ball low, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 St. Francis as we play in the bottom of the second.
And they'll see Cupertino here next Tuesday and watch that game on KMVT.
Count of 2-0. Kiara Graybill on the mound for Los Gatos today. Swing and a miss, and the count 2-1. Yeah, big stretch coming up for St. Francis where they have a chance to put things away with the teams behind them. Wilcox this week and Cupertino next week.
You know, for a long time, we used to pull up that standings graphic for De Anza Division softball. People were convinced that Los Altos was etched in video stone at the top of it. This has been the year that the Eagles have fallen. And the Lancers have ascended to the top.
Fair ball down the left field line. Mills over quickly. Pennell held to a single. Leadoff base hit for Kim Pennell. That is hit number 2 for St. Francis.
Brian, I'm very impressed with the speed I've seen so far in the Los Altos outfield. Look at Mills getting over here. That's the difference between a single and extra bases for Kim Pennell.
Mills in left, Barker in center. They've covered a lot of ground here in the first 2 innings. A bunt foul by Megan Schwedelm. The count is 0-1. Schwedelm suffered an injury, and not a major injury, but she took a fall in practice, and rather than play her in the outfield, which Barry Ivers has done periodically this season, Schwedelm the DH today, trying to get a bunt down and get Pennell over to second base. That's a ball, 1-1.
Smart move right there by Schwedelm. As soon as she realized that wasn't a good pitch to bunt, she pulled her back. Saw that pitch coming up, took the ball. A lot of players will try to fish for that pitch.
Swing and a miss. 1-2, and now the bunting possibility is minimized. St. Francis had problems getting a bunt down in the first inning, but they were able to get an unearned run across in that frame. Count evens, 2-2. Lindsay Arioto on deck.
This is big right here if Barry Ivers' club can put up a run with the bottom third of the order up.
Off-speed pitch to the left side. Tough play. Long throw. Tessa Donnelly too late. Infield single. Schwedelm. First and second, nobody out. Well, that's better than a bunt.
Oh, much better. You get 2 runners on, and you've got your number 9 hitter coming up. She can keep things going. You got the top of the order. Donnelly gets her arm tested right here. She had to go over towards the third base side. Now the infield's going to come in.
2 on, nobody out. Ario, the freshman center fielder, she's probably going to bunt. Pulls back, takes high, ball 1.
But as I was saying a moment ago, Brian, anytime you can get the bottom third of the order to produce a run, that's a real key in this game. Because most teams expect their 3, 4, and 5 spots to bring the runs home for them.
Yes. Arioto missed on the bunt attempt, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. We are in the second inning. Lancers batting, leading Los Gatos 1-0. St. Francis scored on a walk, a hit, and an error in the bottom of the first. The ball slashed to short. Tessa Donnelly fires to first for out number 1. The runners move up. Well, even though it wasn't a bunt, Arioto did her job to get the runners over to second and third. Pennell now at third, Schwedelm at second.
What some people call the swinging sacrifice, even though it doesn't count as one, still accomplishes the same thing as the bunt.
Keep it down, Sarah. Nothing up.
Top of the order now, Sarah Collins with 1 out, runners on second and third. Graybill misses high, ball 1. Kiara, a very good athlete. In addition to softball, she also plays on the volleyball team.
She's a pretty fair outside hitter. She's got good upper body strength. If you watched any of the volleyball broadcasts, and Los Gatos was on KMVT a lot this past year, you'd have been witness to that yourself.
Los Gatos just hired a new volleyball coach over there, by the way. Joe Ripp resigning. Ryan Cooling, former assistant at Archbishop Mitty, now the new head volleyball coach at Los Gatos.
Oh, no.
Infield pop-up third base. Barclay with the catch. And there are 2 away. Huge out for Graybill. The runners can't advance on the infield pop-up. 2 down. It's up to Michelle Hobbs. Pitch up and away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, both teams have had chances here in the first 2 innings. Lancers looking to build on a 1-0 lead. Los Gatos missed on an opportunity in the top of the inning, and look at this. Pitch got away. It's a ball. Graybill had a careen off her leg as she was delivering.
That's what the rosin bag is for. Let's take a look right here. Let's see where she drops it. Bumped the side of her leg, came off her fingertips.
That's what we call a whoops.
That's where you wish you had a rewind button if you're the pitcher.
2-1 the count on Hobbs. Hobbs has scored the only run of the game so far. Little squibber to second base. Ming Lin has it. Throws to Jessica Moeller. Side retired. 2 hits, no runs. 2 left. The Lancers have stranded 4 runners through the first 2 innings. But despite that, St. Francis carries a 1-0 lead to the 3rd. Chamber of Commerce weather here at St. Francis High School in Lancer Field. A couple of fans taking in the nice weather and the softball game. A De Anza Division battle between Los Gatos and St. Francis. Lancers lead at 1-0 going to the 3rd. Stepping up to the plate for the Wildcats is Melanie Barker, and stepping up to the microphone with the play-by-play, my partner and good friend, George Devine.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Melanie Barker will be followed by Eming Lin and then Tessa Donnelly. We get our second look today at the top 3rd of the Los Gatos order. And for Megan Dunham, the St. Francis right-hander, she'll get her second look as well. Barker led off the ball game with an infield single her first time up. Chamber of Commerce weather. I love that. It's like picture postcard weather.
Yes.
Or as they say in Redwood City, climate best by government test. That one fails the strike zone test, and it's 1-0 to Melanie Barker.
And if you are from the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for watching. Even if you're not from the Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for watching just the same.
The 1-0, chop to first. Hobbs, the short walk to the bag, and there's 1 gone. Lancers and Los Gatos, second meeting of the year. Michelle Hobbs, wearing number 2, doing the pitching for the Lancers with a 6-2 victory over the Wildcats the last time they met. They play a double round robin in the De Anza division. Here's Eming Ling, had a grounder to Kim Pinnell at 3rd, her last time up. It's up high for ball 1. We've been lucky so far this spring in terms of weather. We haven't had too much late rain, and the people who run these baseball and softball leagues love it because they don't have to do any rescheduling. The 1-0 is tapped right back to the mound. Dunham up with it, and there are 2 gone. So a roller to first, a roller to the mound, 2 away, and here's Tessa Donnelly.
Yeah, the only real bugaboo about the weather about a month or so ago was the wind. Very high wind and very gusty at times, but today, not much of a breeze. Very nice, very pleasant.
We're in the top of the 3rd, 1-0 St. Francis. Here's a chopper to Halata at short. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the St. Francis Lancers. 3 infield rollers for Megan Dunham through 2.5, 1-0 Lancers. Welcome back to Lancer Field on the St. Francis High School campus in Mountain View. Home 3rd on tap will be the heart of the St. Francis order up, and Nancy Mills has come on to pitch for the Los Gatos Wildcats, taking over for Kiara Graybill, who goes over to first base. Jessica Moeller goes to right field to fill in for Mills in the outfield. So Mills taking over for Graybill, who went 2 innings, allowed 1 unearned run, 3 hits, struck out 1, and walked 1. It'll be Lauren Wong, Saskia Gazenbeek, and Chrissy Hirsch here in the 3rd for the Lancers as they try to extend a 1-0 lead. Wong was down swinging on 3 pitches her first time. And she starts out with a ball 1-0. You know, Brian, it's real interesting. You got to wonder what happened with Kiara Graybill. Maybe there was a pitch count in effect, or maybe she injured something, and that's why she's no longer pitching. There's a strike on the outside. The count is even on the ball and a strike to Lauren Wong.
Well, Jerry Garza, the head coach, might be trying to change things up a little bit. Lancers the second time through the batting order, getting a different look at somebody on the mound.
Here's the 1-1. Off-speed pitch over for a strike. And Wong is in a 1-2 hole. So Nancy Mills doing what Jerry Garza would want her to do against the Lancer number 3 batter. Just missed that time. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Keep in mind, Graybill had dodged a couple of bullets. The Lancers could easily be ahead 2, 3, or 4 to nothing. Los Gatos very fortunate to be down only 1 zip.
Here's the 2-2. And the count is full to Lauren Wong. In fact, when I ran through that pitching line, the number I neglected, and I should have announced it, was that St. Francis has stranded 4 runners here in the early going.
Yeah, runners on second and third in each of the first 2 innings.
Just outside, and Lauren Wong will trot down to first to open up the third. So Nancy Mills, unless she can get a double play ball right here against Saskia Gazenbeek, will not face the minimum here in the third. Gazenbeek her last time with a single up the middle. Plays a bunt foul. And the count is 0-1.
George, what's the deal with the Lancers not being able to get bunts down today?
Well, it looks like to me in the field in front of the batter's box is a little chopped up. It looks like a lot of the bunts they've put down have hit the front of the batter's box and just rolled back. I think they got to get them out a little bit further. Corners play in. Here's the 0-1. This time it stays on the field. Down to first. They get the out with Lynn covering from second. On to second goes Wong. So the sacrifice goes 2 to 4 covering. 1 away in the home third. We get another look.
Gazenbeek, not known for her bunting, more of a drive them in and rack up the RBIs type of batter. Coming out of that cleanup spot, no surprise, but did a good job. Got the bunt down and got the runner into scoring position. Now Chrissy Hirsch trying to do something.
Chrissy Hirsch, who reached on the error at third her last time, takes a strike. The sophomore Hirsch, along with her sister Cindy, her twin sister Cindy, playing their 3rd varsity sport this year. Here's the 0-1. The count evens up at a ball and a strike.
We say played with quotation marks around it in Cindy's case. Cindy suffered a torn ACL. There she is in the dugout, and she is still recuperating from that injury, but she is on the roster, and definitely a plus in practice.
Hard shot to short. Donnelly up with it for the out, but the Lancers advance Wong to third as Hirsch is retired. So 2 gone. Lancers will try to add to a 1-0 lead with Catherine Halata batting. Lauren Wong will lead down the line from third. Outfield shifts towards the right side. There's a called strike. Halata her last time hit a roller to Yiming Lin at second base. And Kiara Grable got her to ground out to end the first. The 0-1 is chopped. It's played by the catcher Radnich. She goes to first and Grable for the out. So the Lancers waste the walk by Lauren Wong, and they fail to add to a 1-0 lead, stranding a runner in the bottom of the third. We've played 3 full, and the Lancers lead 1-0 on KMVT. Hope a lot of you at home have pulled up a chair and found something cold to drink and made yourselves comfortable. Watching Deanza Division Softball on KMVT. We got a look at the CCS rankings. St. Francis checking in at number 9 this week. The poll coming out today. Mitty up in first place. Then that Washington you see is Washington and Fremont. They're actually a North Coast section team, but the Mercury News includes the Mission Valley Athletic League schools in their poll. So that's why you see schools like Washington and James Logan in various polls, and Leland, Live Oak, and Monte Vista Christian round out the top 5. Kiara Grable, who's right now the pitcher of record for Los Gatos, will lead off the 4th. Jillian Wattis will follow, and then Chelsea Hayes. The 4, 5, and 6th third of the Wildcat order do, trying to tie this ball game. Graybill takes a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. The Lancers got their run in the 1st. And since then, it's been zeros for each ball club. Oh, 1, back to the mound, Dunham. And there's one gone. Dunham has now set down 6 straight. I'm sure the Lancers talking about that in their little huddle. You know, it really helps the pitcher, Brian, when they get into a good groove and they start mowing the batters down before they become runners. Here's Wattis, who grounded to second her last time. Fooled by a breaking pitch.
Well, it looks like, George, within the last inning or so, Megan Dunham not only has settled into a bit of a groove, but she's throwing the ball a little bit harder. She's really come out aggressively challenging the batters here in inning number 4.
Yeah, it's funny. I've had the chance this year to interview some major league pitchers, especially starting pitchers after their outings. And you ask them, did you pick up strength as you went along? And they'll say, no, I just maintained it. Here's the 1-1, bunted fair. Chrissy Hirsch throws wide of the bag, and that will allow Wattis to go into second standing up. That ball nearly hit the bat, which was in fair territory. And Chrissy Hirsch, the sophomore, with her arm being tested.
Well, the ball out in front of the plate. Wild throw by Hirsch. Goes as a hit and an error. That's the 3rd error for St. Francis today, and it puts the tying run in scoring position with Wattis at second.
And it puts pressure on Megan Dunham facing Chelsea Hayes right here. Lancers running that backdoor play over at third with Halata shifting over on the pitch from short. Hayes singled her last time up. Dunham working with a runner on for the first time since there was 1 out back in the, since there were no outs, 1 out back in the 2nd. There's a called strike, and the count is 2-1 to Chelsea Hayes.
Hayes may have had the take sign the whole way there. Make Dunham throw you a strike. You never know. She goes to a 3-0 count. You make Dunham work a little extra. Try and get something going here in the 4th inning, tying run in scoring position.
That's Wattis at second base. Here's the 2-1. And it's well hit to center field. A run for Arioto. And it's off her glove. It'll go to the wall. And this ball game's going to be tied as Wattis will score standing up. An RBI double for Chelsea Hayes. And it's a 1-1 ball game here at St. Francis.
Hard hit ball, well placed by Hayes. Arioto, a freshman, having trouble in center field. And once that ball got by her, it was easy money for Hayes coasting into second and Wattis crossing the plate. A 1-1 game, and now Los Gatos with a chance to take the lead.
Potential go-ahead run at second base with Jessica Moeller taking strike 1. 2 hits here in the 4th for Los Gatos, 4 in the ball game against Dunham. And the equalizing run in the person of Wattis. Nobody gone here in the 4th. 1-1 ball game. There's a chopper to third over Pinnell, picked up by the shortstop Halata. Hayes stays at second, Moeller to first. And right now St. Francis looking for order to be restored here in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, I've heard coaches say sometimes that one big hit can really swing things in an inning, and all of a sudden it's contagious. Everybody in the lineup starts to hit, and we've seen it here. the single in the air, allowing Wattis to get to second. Then the double by Hayes to drive Wattis in. Now an infield single by Moeller. Things going the Cats' way right now.
Radonich takes ball one low. Radonich, the catcher, grounded out to second base her last time. Right now, St. Francis looking for a little epidemiology. You talk about that contagious plague that's facing them right now. Here's the 0-1, chop to third. Pinnell back to the bag will get the lead runner, and that's all. So that takes care of Chelsea Hayes. 5 unassisted on the force if you're keeping score with us. Moeller to second, Radonich to first on the fielder's choice. Down in the St. Francis bullpen, action starts to get going. That's Corey Montalbano, the freshman. Right-handed thrower, working down the third base line.
It's Dave Montalbano's daughter, assistant Lancer coach. Looks like we'll get a pinch runner here, George, for Los Gatos. Jerry Garza talking to plate umpire Steve Chase.
Kelly Castaneda.
Castaneda running for Jessica Moeller at second. Now you can re-enter in softball. Moeller probably will come back and play right field when we go to the bottom of the inning. Nancy Mills, the pitcher for Los Gatos. Chance to help herself out now with runners on first and second, 2 out. By the way, nice defensive play by Pinnell to field the ground ball from Radonich. Immediately go to the third base bag to get the lead runner. A lot of times you see younger third basemen so excited that they fielded the ball, rush the throw to first base to make sure they get somebody out, forgetting that they could have just taken a few steps back, touched up a bag, and gotten a force play.
Mills laid on the fastball, down on the count 0-1 to her opposite number, Megan Dunham. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a pinch runner right here, is to put a little more speed in that situation should another ball be hit at Pinnell. 1 away here in the top of the fourth. 1-1 ball game. Los Altos tying it here in this frame, trying to add to it. 0-1 pitch. And right now, Mills complying with Megan Dunham. Swinging at a fastball and then a breaking ball. Mills, the number 9 batter in the Los Gatos lineup, with Melanie Barker, the leadoff batter on deck. Breaking ball misses, runners advance. So Chrissy Hirsch, the Lancer catcher, a little bit perplexed. Now first base open with 1 away. An 0-2 count to Mills, who talks with Jerry Garza. Works down from the third base coach's box. He goes over and exchanges a high five with Castaneda. Here's the 0-2. Called strike 3. Oh, hang on. Steve Chase stuck his hand out. It looked like he made a called strike signal.
Steve Chase does that sometimes. What he's really doing is signaling the pitch was outside. It was just off the corner, but you're not the first one to get faked out by that, George. Let me tell you, it's happened to me as well. And to be honest with you, you're watching at home. The guy throws out his right hand. Usually when an umpire does that, strike.
I think we should be allowed to call him for a balk on that. I think you and I should get to advance a base for that.
Well, Steve Chase is a good guy. Good crew out here today with Chase and Hal Norton. Key opportunity here for Los Gatos with runners on second and third.
There's the 1-2, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I wonder how many times with that exaggerated little signal the defensive teams run off the diamonds on the thinking it was a called third strike for the third out. Here's the 2-2. Mills stays alive. And the suspense builds here at Lancer Field. Castaneda, the pinch runner, is at third. Radonich, the catcher, is at second. Megan Dunham trying to restore order after blowing a 1-0 lead here in the fourth.
Mills has been very aggressive in this at-bat, doing a great job.
Swung on and missed. This side is retired. 1 run on 3 hits, 2 stranded for Los Gatos. St. Francis commits an error. The Wildcats tie it through 3.5. Get a look right there at 2 generations of DeCarlos. Mike DeCarlo, his young child. Mike, the St. Francis girls basketball coach. Just won his first CCS championship back in March. Watching this game between the Los Gatos Wildcats and the St. Francis Lancers. We're in the home 4th. St. Francis got their run in the first. Los Gatos tied it up in the last half inning. 1-5-1 for Los Gatos, 1-3-3 for St. Francis. Each team has left 5 on the bases. Kim Pennell, Megan Schweedhelm, and Lindsay Ariota to face Nancy Mills. And Pennell swinging at the first pitch, the count 0-1.
Great duel to end the top of this 4th inning with Megan Dunham striking out Nancy Mills. Really a nice confrontation. Mills hung in there, but then Dunham blew her away with a fastball. Little low, fast pitch right over the outside part of the plate, and Mills couldn't get it.
Mills, a taller player with a big strike zone. Trying to find every little corner of that. Hit hard towards short. Donnelly up with it and into first in time with the throw. Pennell is taken care of. 6-3. 1 away. That'll bring Megan Schweedhelm to the plate.
That ball was hit too hard by Kim. One hopper, and Donnelly had plenty of time to plant and throw. Got her plenty of room and time to spare.
If you're going to hit it that hard, hit it a little bit higher. Turn it into a line drive single. Schweedhelm will reach down an infield hit on a ball hit to Donnelly last time. Fouls off the first offering from Mills. Kiara Graybill went the first 2 innings and handed the baton to Nancy Mills. Mills faced 4 batters in the 3rd and deals a strike to Schweedhelm and goes ahead 0-2.
Mills a harder thrower than Graybill. Graybill more of a finesse type of pitcher. Didn't have very good command today, but did manage to get through the first couple of innings, only giving up 1 unearned run.
So 1-2 to Schweedhelm, the Lancer DH. She takes ball 2 in the dirt, 2-2.
Mills trying to make Schweedhelm chase something out of the strike zone, bounce one up to the plate, and maybe Schweedhelm would go fishing, but Megan disciplined, held up, and count 2-2.
Here's the 2-2 with the corners drawn in, and Schweedhelm stays alive.
George, this is a big game for both teams. If St. Francis loses this game, it's their first loss in league, and keep in mind, next up for the Lancers at Wilcox, here against Cupertino. Those are the 2 teams chasing St. Francis.
And then the regular season finale at Mountain View, but first of all, they have to finish up a game which is suspended in the middle of the 9th inning as we get another look at the standings.
Yeah, that one tie for the Lancers, 21-6-1, 9-0-1. That one tie is against Mountain View.
Here's a roller to Donnelly. She's up with it and on to first for the out. So 2 gone on balls hit to the shortstop here in the Lancer 4th. That'll bring Lindsay Ariota to the plate to face Nancy Mills and the Los Gatos Wildcats.
They'll resume that game in the bottom of the 9th inning against Mountain View. A 3-3 score. That game played earlier this year had to be suspended because of darkness.
A lot of our viewers saw the first 8.5 innings of that ball game. First pitch to Ariota in the dirt. 1-1 ball game. We're in the home 4th with 2 away, nobody on. Ariota at the plate. Should anything happen, Sarah Collins is on deck. Ariota hit a ground ball to short her last time up. And she takes ball 2 high.
One more.
They get a called strike to count 1-1.
Steve Chase is playing with your mind right now, Chief.
He's chasing me all over the place.
Living up to his name.
Here's the 1-1. Chop to third off the glove of Barkley. Donnelly for the recovery. Will throw it across, but not in time to get Ariota. So an infield hit. Ariota aboard. A tough ball for Barkley to handle over at third.
That ball was scorched, and remember in softball, the third baseman plays so far in. That ball was on top of Barkley big time. Donnelly, not a wise move there, throwing the ball.
Runner goes with the ball getting away from the catcher, Radnich. While we have this chance, let's reset the defense for you. Jillian Watson left, Melanie Barker in center, Jessica Moeller in right, Jamie Barkley at third, Tessa Donnelly at short, Eming Lin at second, Kiara Graybill at first, Radnich catching, Nancy Mills pitching. There's a called strike on the outside. 1-1 to Sarah Collins. Collins 0 for 2. And that's a fair ball over third base, just off the line. Into third goes Arioto. And on to first with the base hit is Collins. And the question right here is, where did it hit? It looked like it hit the outside corner of the line. You be the judge.
Tough angle right there. Steve Chase had a better look down the line. A lot of the Los Gatos fans sitting behind us, George, they did not particularly think that was a very good call. It was very close. It was right down the line. Steve Chase called it fair. Big thing there was Lindsay Arioto being held at third. And now look at this. Steve Chase to consult with Hal Norton. What a break it would be for the Cats if this call got overturned.
And it would be strike two on the count.
Foul ball, and Arioto back to second. Collins back to the plate.
They use paint on the lines here at St. Francis rather than chalk. Had there been chalk on the line and it had been freshly applied, we might have seen a little white powder fly if the ball had hit the line. But with paint, you don't usually see that. Hal Norton wasn't exactly in a position to make the call on the line. And when you don't have umpires on the corners, the home plate umpire makes the determination on anything down the lines in the two-member umpiring crew system.
Well, Jerry Garza's a feisty coach, and he's going to scratch and claw for everything he can get here. And at least Garza got Chase to ask his partner, and you never know what's going to happen in that situation. I've actually seen scenarios where the base ump will overrule the home plate guy in that situation, and then you've got a real Donnybrook on your hands because the other coach is hot.
The other coach would be hot because he wasn't in position to make the call. Michelle Hobbs takes a strike high, and it's 0-1 to the Lancer first baseman. Walked and scored in the first, grounded to second in the second. Taps the 0-1, back to the mound. Mills over to first for the out. No runs, 2 hits, one of them very controversial. 2 left for the Lancers in the fourth. We head to the fifth, knotted at 1. Well, it's not hockey night in Canada. It's softball afternoon in California. See some of the roller hockey players out in the Cuesta Park parking lot. Top of the fifth, 1-1, St. Francis and Los Gatos. Melanie Barker to lead it off. There's a strike, and the count is 0-1. Eming Ling and Tessa Donnelly to follow. Top third of the Wildcat order, due against Lancer right-hander Megan Dunham. Dunham has been the Harriet Houdini of this ball game today. Has a lot, 5 hits, but only 1 run. There's strike 2, and the count is 0-2. Shadows starting to become a factor here at St. Francis today. Make that ball 1. So 1-1 to Barker. Barker has singled and hit the ball to first, and she takes the ball low. The count 2-1. She's 1 for 2 today.
That second pitch, which was called a ball, made the count 1-1. Steve Chase actually did appeal to Hal Norton, but a tough view for Norton with a left-handed batter up.
There's a bunt played by Pinnell in the dirt to first. Barker is safe. A bunt single, a half dozen Los Gatos hits today. As Melanie Barker is on at first.
Barker doing a good job putting the ball in play, and today, when Los Gatos has put the ball in play, bad things have happened for the Lancers. St. Francis has committed 3 errors. That was a base hit. But that time, what happened for St. Francis, Hobbs had already committed and she was off the bag, so Gazenbeek had to come over and cover from second. Wasn't the best of throws either by Pinnell.
Lynn bunts it, it hits her, she's out automatically. If the ball hits you in fair territory and it's batted fair, you're out. So Yiming Ling is retired 2 unassisted.
And the runner has to go back to first. That's a really tough call right there for Los Gatos. It was a good call by Steve Chase. The ball definitely hit Lynn while she was standing in fair territory, but the thing that hurts the Cats, the runner, Barker, has to go back to first base. She cannot advance to second.
Here's shortstop Tessa Donnelly, batting with Barker still anchored to the bag at first. She's rolled her way out to third and to short today, 0 for 2. And hits this one to Gazenbeek at second on to first, not in time to double off Barker. So 2 pitches and 2 outs after the Barker single for Los Gatos here in the 5th inning, and Kiara Graybill comes to the plate.
That was a good play by Gazenbeek. Another veteran play by the senior second baseman. Almost doubled up Barker. Barker needs to stay very close to the bag in that situation.
Throw down to first by Hirsch, not in time. Kiara Graybill has grounded back to the mound twice. Did it to close up shop in the first, and then again to lead off the 4th. Time called at the plate. Graybill stepping out. Graybill started the ball game as the pitcher for Los Gatos, then moved to first base, with Nancy Mills taking over on the pitching slab in the 3rd inning. And now St. Francis third base coach Dave Montalbano goes out and has a word with Steve Chase, the home plate umpire. Barry Ivers, the head coach, coaches at first for the Lancers. Los Gatos dugout doing a little cheering. You able to decipher what they're saying, Brian?
I can't see the subtitles from here. Sounds like whoop, whoop.
This is where you need closed captioning for the cheering impaired. Here's the 1-0. Chop to short. Halata goes the long way, and the Lancers are out of the Los Gatos 5th. No runs a hit. Barker is stranded on the base paths. We've played 4.5, and we're tied at 1. Bottom of the 5th on tap here at St. Francis. Lauren Wong, Saskia Gazenbeek, and then Chrissy Hirsch due for the Lancers. The shade becoming more and more evident this late Wednesday afternoon. George Devine alongside of Brian Burkett here at St. Francis High School. Los Gatos huddling up before they begin the 5th inning on the field.
And George, Jerry Garza, the Los Gatos coach, once again changing things up defensively. 3rd time through the Lancer batting order. Kiara Graybill returns to the pitching slab. Mills returns to the outfield. Moeller back at first base. Remember, Graybill went the first 2 innings. Then Mills came in, pitched 3 and 4. Now as we go to the bottom of the 5th, Graybill back in there as Garza tries to mix and match.
Long struck out her first time up against Graybill, and she fouls the first pitch off here, then walked to lead off the 3rd against Mills.
Now you can do this if you keep the starting pitcher in the game in another position. You can bring that pitcher back later in the contest. In fact, you know who's notorious for that is Bernie Quintero this year with Samantha Quintero. He's brought her into pitch and then brought a starting pitcher back after Quintero has gotten the Eagles out of a jam, sometimes vice versa with Samantha starting, and then the other pitcher has to come in and relieve her.
The 0-1 into the glove of Melanie Barker in center field.
But
Hang on.
Did she trap it?
She trapped it. Hal Norton with the call. You be the judge.
It looked like she did trap it. Boy, hard to tell. Barker made a nice play to try and get there and make the catch on the fly. But Hal Norton said it bounced into the glove, scored a base hit. Leadoff batter aboard for St. Francis in the 5th.
Here's Gazenbeek, who facing Graybill back in the first, single to center. Then had a 2-4 sacrifice against Mills in the 3rd to move Wong to 2nd. This time a chopper 2-2 Lynn watches it roll by. Lancers safe at 1st and 2nd. Back-to-back hits by Lauren Wong, who stands at 2nd base. And Saskia Gazenbeek setting the table for Chrissy Hirsch.
Well, that's what Gazenbeek does best. Swing the bat and, as I said earlier, drive in runs, collect the RBIs, be a catalyst offensively in that way. That time she slashed with the 3rd baseman playing in, got a base hit, 2 on, no outs.
Hirsch swinging at the high fastball, misses, and the count is 0-1. 1-1 ball game. Lancers with 7 hits, Los Gatos with 6 hits. Lancers have stranded 7 coming into the home 5th. Here's a pitch low, the runners advance as it rolls back to the screen. Throw over to 3rd, appeal back to the plate, and Wong is safe. So Gazenbeek goes to 2nd, Wong to 3rd. Here's another look. Ball back to the screen, Wong over at 3rd. They try to backdoor her.
I'll tell you what, the Lancer base runners have been leading precarious lives today. That was a close play over at 3rd. And if Dave Montalbano hadn't been standing in the way, we would have had a better look. But another opportunity for the Lancers. Wild pitch moves the runners to 2nd and 3rd. Now Garza, Jerry Garza, the Los Gatos coach, he's going out to the field. He wants to have a little conversation with the men in blue.
He started out with Steve Chase behind the plate. Now he's talking to Hal Norton, and Norton appealed back to Chase, saying that Chase had the better angle from his position just to the left of home plate on the play on Wong at 3rd. So inconclusive on the replay, as they would say in the NFL. That also gives Barry Ivers and Dave Montalbano a chance to huddle with their base runners. Wong and Gazenbeek were down at 1st base. Remember, this inning got going with Lauren Wong hitting that ball to center field, which Melanie Barker apparently trapped. So a whole lot of rhubarb here in the 5th inning. Lancers with 2 on. Now time is called. Chrissy Hirsch setting out as Dave Montalbano wants to run over a couple of more signs from the 3rd base coach's box. Bottom of the 5th, 1-1 our score. It's been an interesting ball game today. That one gets away. This time the catcher Radnich plays it out in front and holds Wong to the bag at 3rd. That time Radnich was lucky because the ball took a very high bounce off of the screen. 2-1 to Chrissy Hirsch.
Should point out there's padding behind home plate, and there have been wild pitches that die up against that padding. Look for the runner to break for 3rd.
Another pitch in the dirt. Now Chrissy Hirsch, a ball away from going to a vacant 1st base. Now Jerry Garza is going to go out and have a word with Kiara Graybill, and maybe he's going to reconsider the pitching change he made at the beginning of the home 5th when he brought Nancy Mills back into right field and brought Kiara Graybill back over to the mound, putting Jessica Moeller back at 1st. Mills had a good rhythm going, I thought.
Plus, she had set down 5 in a row at one point. Ran into a little bit of difficulty in the 4th as the Lancers had runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 out, but got the grounder from Michelle Hobbs to end that threat. St. Francis, another opportunity here in the 5th.
Lancers have stranded 7 runners so far in this ballgame. Stranded runners equal missed opportunities in the game of softball.
Softball, you got to cash in on the opportunities when you get them, and that's something that the Lancers have not been able to maximize today. The number of base runners they've had cashing in, and we'll see what they do with this particular situation. Second and third and nobody out, and you've got one of your top hitters at the plate in Chrissy Hirsch.
Chrissy Hirsch, who's been batting with a .630 average in De Anza Division play, was 4 for 4 in 2 ball games last week. That's with 2 runners on, and takes ball 4. So the bases are loaded for the Lancers. Hirsch at first, joining Gazenbeek at second and Wong at third. And Kiara Graybill looking to find the escape hatch against Catherine Halata. Infield drawn in for Halata, who takes ball 1 low.
Well, there's no place to put Halata. You just issued the walk to Hirsch. Another walk means a run for the Lancers, and that would break the tie. Big spot for Catherine Halata.
Right-hander against left-hander. Little chopper to second. Lynn to the plate, 4-1. Back to first. Not in time, so they remain loaded. Wong is out. 4-2 on the fielder's choice.
Good play by Lynn to come home with that ball. She really had to come home with it to choke that run, but then Radonich with a risky throw down to first to try and turn a double play. Really didn't have a chance to get Halata. In that situation, you get the grounder. You want to make sure you peg the runner at home plate. That's what the Wildcats do.
Infield still drawn in for Kim Pinnell, who's singled and grounded to short. And she pops this one up, foul territory, left field way, and too far for Wattis to go. Wattis with a nice effort into the temporary fence.
Tell you what, that was probably the best thing that happened, that she didn't catch that ball. Otherwise, Gazenbeek would have tagged and scored.
That's a great point you make, Brian, because in that situation, the runner can go. If she goes down to the ground, she can't get up quickly to plant and throw. Here's the 0-1, foul back, and it's 0-2. And given this is softball and not baseball, and you're dealing with shorter base paths, you factor that in.
And Gazenbeek's speed, she would have scored easily.
That's 2-1 Lancers. Instead, it's 1-1 with 1 away in the home fifth. Bases still loaded for Kim Pinnell, batting with an 0-2 count. She's fouled off 2 Graybill pitches and puts this one in play and down for a base hit. That will score Gazenbeek. Coming in behind her is Hirsch, to third Halata. Into second, Pinnell with 2 RBI. It's 3-1 Lancers.
The big hit for the Lancer third baseman, perfectly placed between the left and center fielders. Good play by Barker in center to barehand the ball and gun it back in, but Gazenbeek and Hirsch scored the double. Second and third, 1 out, and that breaks the 1-all tie. 3-1 Lancers, and Graybill in some trouble here in the 5th inning. She's given up all 3 runs the Lancers have scored today.
Now we're going to see a pinch runner for the Lancers. Something else for Courtney Radonich to think about. Pinch runner will be Michelle Baca, the sophomore, taking over at second base for Pinnell. That was scored a single. Pinnell went to second on the throw into the infield. And the first pitch to Schwedhelm fouled off. Schwedhelm singled against Graybill when she first faced her in the second, then grounded out against Mills back in the 4th. Runners at the corners, Graybill dealing the 0-1 and time calling at the plate. You know, I was just thinking, Brian, we totaled up Graybill's pitching line in the top of the 3rd, and now because Jerry Garza made the change, we got to do it all over again.
Well, you just add to it, and you can add 2 more runs in the run column. The 2 runs this inning are earned. St. Francis breaking on top here in the 5th.
The 0-1 grounded through. Another run will score. Halata comes across the plate, followed by Pinnell. The Lancers scoring 4 times here in the 5th.
Good piece of hitting from the number 8 batter, Megan Schwedelm, poking it through the right side. Barker kicked it around a little bit. 2-run score easily. The runner from second, Baca, was chugging all the way, so even though Barker kicked that ball around, Baca was looking to score regardless, so no error on the play. Base hit, 2 RBI, 4 runs across in the inning.
Ouch, if you're Kiara Graybill. Lindsay Arioto singled her last time in the 4th. Takes a strike high, and it's 0-1. 1 out. That was Lauren Wong forced at the plate on the ground ball hit by Halata to second. But otherwise, the Lancers have gotten 4 of their 9 hits and 4 of their 5 runs in this inning. Pop fly, back a second for Lynn. She's there for the out. And there are 2 gone. So that will send Arioto back to the bench. And Sarah Collins will come up to the plate against Kiara Graybill. While we have this chance, we would like to pass along congratulations to my partner, Brian Burkett. He'll be heading back to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this weekend. First pitch to Collins has popped up. Brian will be going back there for his 4th season as the lead radio voice of the Sioux Falls Canaries.
They keep saying, Brian, you're coming back till you get it right.
So his senior season in the Independent Northern League. We wish you all the best of luck, Brian. You're a good colleague and, more importantly, a good friend of all of us at KMVT.
Well, always a pleasure coming out here, doing the games, and it's a lot of fun, and always enjoy it.
1-1 to Sarah Collins with 2 away in the Lancer 5th. Swung on into left field, trouble for Wadas, contained, but plenty of trouble for the Los Gatos Wildcats here in the 5th. They give up 4 runs on 4 Lancer hits. The Lancers leave a runner, and through 5, it's 5-1 St. Francis. 5 runs on 9 hits, 8 runners stranded and 3 errors for St. Francis, 1 run on 6 hits, no errors, and 6 runners stranded for Los Gatos. Somebody looking for their hockey puck. We're looking for an announcer to take over here in the 6th, and to step up to the microphone, Brian Burkett.
Thank you, George. Jillian Wadas leads off for Los Gatos. We're in the 6th inning, a 5-1 Lancer lead. St. Francis scored 4 times in the bottom of the 5th to break a 1-1 tie. Wadas 1 for 2 has scored the only Wildcat run, a hack and a miss, no balls, 1 strike. Megan Dunham trying to go the distance and pick up the victory and improve the Lancers' overall record to 22-6-1 and the league record to 10-0-1. A soil kisser, a ball, and a strike. Well, George, the Lancers had so many opportunities through the first 4 innings. They finally broke the bank in the 5th, scoring 4 times.
The big number, they only stranded 1 runner in that inning.
Foul ball. Wadas trying to drag bunt, the count 1-2.
Looked like they were going to strand the whole batting order on the bases today. They just weren't bunching their hits together, and they finally were able to bunch 4 hits together and get something going with it.
Key blow in the inning, a 2-run hit by Kim Pennell, followed up by a 2-run hit by Megan Schwedelm. Gazenbeek at second. Shovels to Hobbs. Nice play, 1 away.
That's why Gazenbeek is wearing knee pads out there. The tough play. Takes a last bounce as she goes down, and somehow she maintains her composure and gets the throw off to first for the 4-3 putout.
Gazenbeek, a senior, bucking for all league honors this year. Chelsea Hayes, the batter. Hayes, the Wildcat designated hitter, 2 for 2 with a run banded in. Doubled home the run, her last time up. First ball taking, ball 1.
Yeah, we often talk about people keeping score at home with us. I wonder if anyone actually does it.
Well, if they did in the bottom of the 4th, their score sheet looks like a kindergartner's coloring book. Back of second, nice try by Arioto, but it bounces in front of her. Backdoor throw, not in time by Gazenbeek. Single Chelsea Hayes, she's 3 for 3.
Chelsea Hayes with a nice job of hitting Arioto, doing the right thing in center field there. It's easy to run into a ball. It's harder to run back. This time she has to run in. Just couldn't get there in time for the basket catch. You know, speaking of basket catches, you know what a birthday yesterday?
Willie Mays turned 66.
The Say Hey kid is collecting Social Security.
Jessica Moeller, a long way from collecting any Social Security, takes a ball, 1-0. Yeah, Willie Mays is 66. When did that happen? How did that happen?
That's hard to believe. But Jack Buck's still 103, so that's how the baseball math works on that. And Louis Tiant is still 34.
A ball and a strike on Moeller. 1 on, 1 out. That's foul along third. Jerry Garza, another fine play in the third base coaching box. Moeller steps back to the plate, and Hayes returns to first.
The real question is, if Satchel Paige were still alive, how old would he be today? That's the real. Nobody knew how old Satchel was.
What's the old line? How well do you think Ted Williams would do against today's pitching? Dunham throws it errantly to second. And after indecision, Hayes decides to stay right there. E1, Dunham commits the 4th Lancer error of the day. Runners on first and second.
Dunham not helping her own cause right here. Should be a quick little turn back to second. She put too much on the throw. It looked like, from the way she released it, she was trying to short hop, which you don't necessarily do going from the mound to second. Maybe you do it going across the diamond from third to first, but never on a throw from the mound. Well, she put a little too much on that ball. Now the Lancer infield's going to talk things over and make sure they don't make any more mistakes, with Courtney Radonich coming up and 2 runners on. 1 gone here in the 6th.
Just to finish up the line about Ted Williams, how would he do against pitching this day and age? And people say, oh, he'd probably do pretty good. Except he's about 70 years old.
That was like when Bobby Hurley was playing at Duke. His father said he could beat Bob Cousy, and so he said, that's real easy. Cousy's 67.
That's right. Always under the assumption, because you remember those guys in their heyday. Los Gatos mounting a threat here in the 6th inning. Runners on first and second with 1 out. 5-1 Lancers, but things can change in a hurry.
Now Moeller going over to have a word with Jerry Garza. Jerry Garza used a pinch runner earlier with Moeller's spot. If he were to use it again, Moeller would be done in the lineup for today.
That's correct. That's why he's got to watch out here. Because in this situation, Moeller's gone. You've already lost Castaneda as a pinch runner. And that means the person who came in would have to stay in the game as a defensive player, and it looks like Moeller will not be lifted because of that exact scenario you were talking about. Moeller stays in the game because if she had been lifted, that would have been her 2nd exit of the contest, and that means she would have been done.
And you usually pinch run as well for the lead runner, not the trailing runner.
Off Dunham's glove. Gazenbeek tags Moeller. Radonich safe at first on the fielder's choice. 1-4 if you're keeping score. Runners on the corners. Now there are 2 away.
Megan Dunham indicating that there are 2 down with that signal. But you're talking about that kindergartner's coloring book. Moeller started out at first base, then goes to right field, then is replaced by a pinch runner, re-enters, and then moves back to first base. That was more scribble in that one part of my scorecard than in 3 years of kindergarten, Brian.
Moeller's played more roles than Tom Hanks today.
Yeah, if you ever want to make fun of a sportscaster, remember we spent 3 years in kindergarten, toughest 3 years of our lives.
Nancy Mills, the batter. Runners on the corners, 2 away. in the dirt, scooped by Hirsch. 1 ball, no strikes. Mills is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third, ending the second. Struck out swinging with the bases loaded to end the fourth. Runner from first goes. The play to second, not in time. Radonich is safe, and that means the run scores from third as Hayes darts across to make it 5-2. Double steal executed perfectly, and the Wildcats able to pilfer a run here in inning number 6.
Billy Martin smiling down on the Los Gatos Wildcats. The double steal working perfectly. Hirsch, the sophomore catcher, buying the decoy runner going to second. The person of Radonich.
Mills held up on the swing. The pitch was a ball. 2-1. Lancers 5, Wildcats 2. We're in the top of the 6th. Swing and a miss. And the count 2-2 on Nancy Mills. Now, good news here for the Wildcats to at least get 1 run back. If they could scratch out another run, carry a 2-run deficit into the bottom of the inning, there would be at least a flicker of hope going into the 7th.
Big thing is you got to get the hold if you do that.
Mills, another check swing. The pitch upstairs for ball 3, and the count goes full.
Remember back in the 4th, Mills had that great battle on 2-2 with Megan Dunham. Kept fouling pitches off, stayed alive. Did a great job protecting the plate before taking a strike looking.
And at that time, the game was tied at 1, so it was a key spot for Mills. And a key strikeout for Dunham. This time, Dunham loses Mills. Thought she had another K, but Mills able to bow out of the way and take ball 4. Runners on first and second. And back to the top and Melanie Barker. Dunham still fidgeting about that base on balls.
Yeah, Dunham's got to concentrate, though, on Barker and take care of a batter who's gotten 2 hits off of her today. In fact, has put the ball in play 3 times.
That's Dunham's first walk of the afternoon. Now Melanie Barker, and the pitch is low for a ball. Barker, 2 for 3, batting right-handed in this at-bat. She's been up left-handed 1 time today in a bunting situation. Swing and a miss. Snap throw to first. Safe. Radonich advances to third on the snap throw by Hirsch. Hobbs shakes her head. You've now got runners on the corners. There's Radonich over at third. Mills ruled safe at first.
You know, we talked about this earlier in the game, running into outs. Right now, St. Francis, by throwing the ball around, might be running Los Gatos into a chance to tie this ball game up. So much can happen on the base paths on both sides of the equation.
Comebacker, Dunham, in time at first. Dunham gets out of the inning, only 1 run scored upon her. 1 hit, 1 error, 2 stranded. Wildcats have left 8 through 6. To the bottom of the 6th, Lancers lead 5-2. Jerry Garza in the Los Gatos dugout, the Wildcat head coach, perhaps trying to rectify the error of his ways, bringing Nancy Mills back to pitch as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. He brought Kiara Graybill in to pitch in the 5th. Graybill gave up 4 runs, and that's really the story of the game, George. 5-2 Lancers as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Mills back on the pitching rubber and ready to face Hobbs, Wong, and Gazenbeek. Ball 1 to Michelle Hobbs, 1-0.
Yeah, it was a great idea trying to get as many possible looks coming at the Lancer batters as possible, but in execution it didn't work out.
Strike, 1-1.
An A, you know, a grade of an A for the whole concept, but a grade of F for how the plan turned out.
Yep.
And like those essay questions you get, it's a two-parter. And one half is contingent upon the other half.
Hobbs on the day 0 for 2 with a walk and a run score. Let up, misses for ball 3. It's 3-1. Graybill still in the game. Kiara moved to first. Jessica Moeller went from first to right. 3-1. In the dirt, ball 4. Mills with her second walk of the game. She walked the leadoff batter in the third and didn't amount to anything. 1 on, no outs. Lauren Wong coming up.
Mills' job right here is just to hold the situation. It's going to be tough against the heart of the Lancer order, especially Wong, who had to hit the center fielder last time up.
Wong went on the bunt. Runner heading for second. The throw gets away. Hobbs is safe. Stolen base, Michelle Hobbs. Even though Wong didn't get a bunt down, Hobbs able to advance on Radonich and the Wildcats.
And right now, Wong walks down to check with Dave Maltabano, the third base coach, seeing if he still wants her to bunt with Hobbs on second. Now, Wong coming back with a new set of instructions.
Wong has struck out, walked, and singled. Officially 1 for 2. 4 walks for Wildcat pitching today. That's a strike, and it's 0-2 on the Lancer left fielder.
Usually the Lancer shortstop.
Runner at second, nobody out. 2 strikes against Wong. Saskia Gazenbeek on deck. Gazenbeek with 2 hits today. Skips away from Radonich. Hobbs breaking for third. She's in there easily. Hobbs now 60 feet away. And a count of 1-2 on Lauren Wong.
Right here, Wong can make it a 4-run game with a fly ball.
This was really an inning where Los Gatos needed to keep the Lancers from scoring. St. Francis trying to get the run back. Swing and a miss. Radonich dropped third strike. Has to hurry. The throw got her at first. Wong is out. Hobbs remained at third. Well, now wait a minute, George. What do we have here? Hal Norton called the runner out. Steve Chase is seconding the call because apparently Wong was not inside that runner's lane. Here's a look.
Let's take a look. Yep, she's not in the lane. She was on the baseline instead. You ever wonder why there are 2 parallel lines along the first baseline in baseball or softball? The outside of the foul line and the inside of that second line form a runner's lane. The outside of the bag belongs to the runner when they get to first. The inside belongs to whichever fielder covers.
Saskia Gazenbeek looks at a ball, 1-0. Good call by Steve Chase. Obviously, Wong was well inside that line, not even in the runner's lane, and chalk it up on a strikeout 2-3 putout. Good save.
We're talking about that runner's lane. In some youth baseball leagues and in some states for high school, they have what they call a double bag at first, where they have a half that's inside of the first base line, it's white, and then a different colored half that's outside.
Lynn throws errantly to third. It gets away. Hobbs heading home. Here's the play at the plate. She scores. Meanwhile, Gazenbeek, a whirling dervish around the base paths, and she winds up at third. Now she's in a box of rocks. Tag play at third. Wadis with a very hard slap on Gazenbeek. Saskia down in a heap, and we've got a timeout on the field. Wild sequence. The Lancers score to make it 6-2, and George will get a look at the replay as Gazenbeek rises and heads back to the dugout.
Yeah, Gazenbeek receiving a knockout punch and not happy with it. We're going to see right here, a little chopper back to second. Lynn with the errant throw. It bounces off the backstop. Hobbs comes in to score. There's your throw to the plate, which gets away. Up with it, Radonich. The throw to third, causing trouble for Barkley. And then Donnelly with the play and the slap out.
Returning to live action, Chrissy Hirsch gunned down by the shortstop Tessa Donnelly. They continue to look at Gazenbeek in the Lancer dugout. We'll see if she comes out for the 7th inning bell. Lancers get the run back here in the 6th. We go to the 7th inning. Lancers 6, Wildcats 2. Final flicks coming up for Los Gatos. Top of the 7th, 6-2 St. Francis, 6-9-4 for the Lancers, 2-7-3 for the Cats. Has not been the most awe-inspiring defensive game that you'll ever see, but at this point, George Devine, the Lancers would just like to get out of Dodge with a victory and get their 10th league win and 22nd triumph overall.
And further lock up first place in the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League's De Anza division. But how often do you get to see a 4-5-7, 2-5-6 put out in a ball game with 2 errors thrown in for good measure and all the excitement?
The scoring play like that, you could win the lottery.
I just want to know what the bonus number was.
Eming Lin takes a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Lin wearing an 0 for 3 collar. Tessa Donnelly and Kiara Graybill to follow.
It's easier on your score sheet to put the fielders not involved.
Kim Pennell, corner to corner, 1 down in the Los Gatos 7th. Lin wraps up an 0 for 4 day.
So Brian, while we still got you on the air here, we know you're heading off to Sioux Falls this weekend. What are some of the sights you're going to see on the way, and what does the Northern League look like this year?
Couple of things. I'll answer the second question first as Tessa Donnelly comes up. Steve Howe signed with the Sioux Falls Canaries 2 weeks ago in the Northern League. So Steve Howe, about his 8th or 9th chance in professional baseball. He'll get a crack. Not sure if he'll be a spot starter, a relief pitcher. Could be the closer coming out of the bullpen. Hasn't yet been determined by Canaries manager Tommy Thompson. Donnelly with a rip and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tessa 0 for 3 today. St. Paul just signed a female player, the pitcher out of Whittier College. Just inked a deal with the St. Paul Saints. That's a club, by the way, run by Bill Veck's son, Mike Veck. Gazenbeek, easy handling of the ground ball, and Donnelly retired, 2 up, 2 away.
The other co-owner of that club, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Of Caddyshack fame.
Yeah.
It's in the hole.
Cinderella story at Augusta.
Out of nowhere, about to win the Masters Championship.
St. Paul's won the last 2 Northern League titles and 3 of the first 4 league championships in the modern resurrection of that circuit. As far as sites, Little America, Wyoming. And the lovely University of Nebraska at Lincoln campus.
The Tom Osborne home for the juvenile delinquent, as some people have called it. But we wish you again the best, Brian. We hope you have a great year, and we look forward to when you come back in September for football and volleyball on KMVT.
It's not that far away. It'll be here before you know it.
Felt like yesterday we were saying welcome home. Where does the time go?
Speaking of volleyball, Kiara Graybill, outside hitter on the Los Gatos volleyball team, standing in with 2 out, nobody on base, so 1-1 count. 6-2 St. Francis in the 7th. To the right side, Hobbs unassisted, ball game. Lancers win it 6-2. Nothing across in the Los Gatos 7th. The Lancers record improves to 22-6-1 overall, 10-0-1 in the De Anza division. Los Gatos drops to 13-11 overall, 4-7 in the league. There are your final totals for the Lancers. 6 runs, 9 hits, 4 errors, and they left a total of 8 runners. Los Gatos, 2 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors. The Cats also stranded 8. George, been a lot of fun, and your final thoughts as we wrap things up here at Lancer Field.
Lancers with a shaky effort defensively today, but their bats came through in the bottom of the fifth. What we've seen all year from them, a good, strong, middle-of-the-order effort. And the CCS playoffs on tap for the Lancers. But most importantly, next week they've got 3 big league ball games. At Wilcox, home against Cupertino, the continuation of a suspended game, and then the regular season finale at Mountain View. So the 2 teams chasing the Lancers coming up next for St. Francis.
Thanks, as always, to our producer and director, Lazarus Sargenides, technical director, Yolanda Harmon. Lee Jackson, Wendy Fleet, Jose Morquecho on the cameras today. Great job, folks. The St. Francis Lancers keep their winning ways alive, and they will at least hold on to their number 9 ranking in the CCS poll. For George Devine, Brian Burkett speaking, this has been a KMVT Sports Presentation.